This is Suvarchala, and the second lesson which I have selected for the cell biology topic is cell transport. So we are going to discuss about cell transport. Here it includes contents, introduction about the cell transport, the structure and functions of the cell. There are two types, like plant cell and an animal cell. The structure and function of a cell membrane, because the membrane itself performs the transport. So the types of cell transport, passive and active, the summary of it, and the connected references. Coming to the next slide, the introduction about the cell. Cell is nothing but a basic building block of any organism. So if an organism should grow, means the basic unit is nothing but cell. Some cells have cell wall and the others have a cell membrane. For example, is plants have both cell wall and cell membrane, whereas animals have only a cell membrane. Coming to the next slide, here you can see a plant cell where a cell wall and a cell membrane both are there. Along with that, the only thing which is added from the animal cell is chloroplast. The chlorophyll pigment is there, that's why it gives a green color to the plants. The mitochondria, nucleus, nuclear membrane, cytoplasm, so everything is same in the animal cell also. So here in the animal cell, you don't see a cell wall and a chloroplast, but you see all other organelles here. The primary one is a cell membrane which encloses all the cytoplasm and the cell organelles which are present in it. The functions of the cell are, what does the cell do first of all? It respires, it transports, it also divides. So the first one is metabolism, respiration. The second one is transport, where it transports the liquid as well as solid substances, and the division. When it divides, it forms two daughter cells. The first function is metabolism, nothing but cellular respiration also. The energy for life is got from cellular respiration, and the powerhouse of the cell is nothing but mitochondria. Here you can see the outer and inner membrane where it is folded, and the space between that you can see the folds. So in the matrix only this glycolysis occurs. When glycolysis is occurring, you see an ATP being produced, and from glycolysis to the Krebs cycle you see one more ATP produced, and from here when the electrons are being transported, when there is electron transport chain, there is one more ATP synthesized. So these ATPs are the energy for the life, and this is got from the metabolism. The next one is transport, which I am going to discuss in detail. The division, cell division is already discussed in the previous class. The next one is, apart from the cell, you have a cell wall and the cell membrane. But since I am only dealing with the animal cell today, so I am not discussing about the plant cell. And coming to the animal cell, the outer one which is there is a cell membrane, which has, and it is a phospholipid bilayer. You can see the phospholipids bilayer, and there are small pores through which it allows the substances to pass through it. And it does not allow all the substances, so permeability is maintained and balance is there. Once everything enters, the cell membrane is lost. So suppose a fungus enters into your body, to target that, we will just target a cell membrane, so the drugs dissolve the cell membrane, so the fungal cells or the bacterial cells die. So the functions are maintaining the integrity, the permeability and the balance of the cell. And coming to the actual topic, how a cell transport occurs through the membrane, both the cell wall and cell membrane allows certain substances to pass in and out of the cell. There are two types of transport mechanisms, one is passive and the other active. Passive, the word itself tells that the energy is not required, but while an active transport is there, there is some energy required. That means the energy which is got from the cellular respiration, that is ATP. So the first one which we have selected is, under the cell transport there are active as well as passive. The first one is passive transport, since there is no energy required. Now coming to the passive transport, you have divisions under that, diffusion and osmosis. In diffusion also there is a simple diffusion and a facilitated diffusion. Diffusion the word itself says that it is just diffusing without any energy required. So, in that there is a simple diffusion as well as facilitated diffusion. So, this is the slide which gives you an idea of a diffusion, where initially it is there the drug or the solution which has to enter into the cell is at a higher concentration, and it is slowly moving to the other areas where it is distributing, so that now concentration is decreasing. So, from higher to the lower concentrations. The next one under diffusion was simple diffusion and facilitated. So, here in the figure you can see simple diffusion does not require any carriers here. So, directly they are diffusing in and out of it. So, there is a plasma membrane and the diffusing particles you can see they are moving out of the cell or in of the cell. Next, facilitated diffusion, you see a carrier protein, a protein which is there in between the lipid layer or in between the cell membrane, which helps the diffusing particles to attach to it and enter inside the cell. So, this is about the simple as well as facilitated diffusion. The next one is osmosis. Osmosis means the same here. This also comes under passive transport. So, from higher to lower water concentration, but a membrane is involved here. There is a selective permeable membrane which permeates only certain substances to move. So, it moves from higher. Initially, always there is a higher concentration, so it moves to the lower concentration. The next part of it is active transport. The word active itself tells you that there is some energy required. The energy that is required is nothing but ATP, which is got from the respiration. So, the extracellular fluid, there are some substances which has to be transported inside the cell. So, the energy is got and which binds to the proteins and helps in transferring the substances which are in the extracellular fluid to the inside of the cell. So, energy is required. That means energy is used, or it is energy expenditure is there in active transport. So, under active transport also you have a division like phagocytosis, pinocytosis and receptor-mediated endocytosis. Phagocytosis tells you that it is a solid substances. So, anything which is solid has to enter, like how amoeba helps in phagocytosis, or amoeba takes anything in the form of phagocytosis. The same way the cell also takes the solid substances or transfers the solid substances through phagocytosis. And if there is a liquid one, the liquids are transferred through the pinocytosis. That means the cycle has been formed. Only thing is here the liquids are filled into the synaptic vesicles. Even you can see the neurotransmitters filled into the synaptic vesicles like this. Next is the receptor-mediated endocytosis. So, you have a receptor when a ligand comes and binds. So, you have a receptor here. When the ligand comes and binds, the receptor attaches. Now, it engulfs it. So, it forms a vesicle. So, it's a coated vesicle where the ligand is there, the receptor is there. Totally, it is engulfed. So, it becomes a coated vesicle. So, this is how the active transport has been divided into phagocytosis, pinocytosis and receptor-mediated endocytosis. If I have to come to a summary of the active and passive transport, passive itself tells you that it is without energy, it is diffusing inside, but active, it requires energy which is got from the respiration. That is nothing but ATP. And these are some of the references which I have collected. Thank you.